Chat GPT 当红，但是对英文写作 or email writing 的影响到底是什么呢？我们可以直接拿它来用吗？那用 Chat GPT 还要注意什么呢？Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. There's nothing you can open on the internet and not have to hear about Chat GPT. It's the latest rage, and people are talking about what are the upsides and what are the downsides. Well, today we want to talk about if you want to utilize Chat GPT, what do you need to look out for, and how do you need to think about its usage?
所以现在大家都在讲 Chat GPT， 也有很多的学者开始也会担心 Chat GPT 带给我们人写作的这些影响。I know a lot of professors are just like scratching their head trying to figure it out a way to accommodate this Chat GPT so that their students would not submit a homework, basically just having AI to type it for them.
And to be honest, I am impressed by what Chat GPT can produce. But it is not the same as what a person can produce. It's actually pretty obvious what is computer generated versus what person generates. Now, that becomes harder as it improves, and it becomes harder when actually people are more sophisticated at asking it what to do. But one of the things we want to cover today is that if you just go into ChatGPT and you give it a very generic request, you're going to get a generic output. Now, I would never take that output and then just put it out publicly, or in this case, we'll talk about what happens if it outputs an email. I would never take that email and just send it. But it does give you a really good baseline for things that you could say or inspiration for how you can get started.
So actually for today, 我想要用一个实际的例子. So I actually went on ChatGPT and I typed in generate apology emails. 然后呢，他就给我3个 example email. 那我们就今天就来讨论其中一篇. Let's take a look at what ChatGPT generates. Dear recipients, I'm writing this email to apologize for my delayed response to your email. I understand that my delay may have caused inconvenience to you, and I am truly sorry for that. I want to assure you that my delay was not intentional, and I'm committed to providing you with the best service possible. I have taken measures to ensure that such delays do not occur in the future. Once again, please accept my sincerest apologies for any inconvenience I may have caused you. I appreciate your understanding and patience. Sincerely, your name.
Okay, so if you look at this purely from like a grammatical or a tone of voice standpoint, it's actually not bad.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did some dramatic reading there, but it feels like I'm just keep on like apologizing to no end.
They definitely get that really I'm very sorry tone out, and everything seems legitimate. Yeah. But this is also, as you just pointed out, a little bit where it starts to fall apart. Because you gave it a generic prompt. All it is just apologize over and over again. But two things happen. One is that's a really long apology. If you've paid attention to anything we've talked about with email writing, your email should not be that long, especially because this is 3 paragraphs. If someone opened this on their phone, like that's just a big wall of apology. And then 2, it doesn't actually solve the problem. Like it generates this scenario, this situation, like I'm writing an email to apologize for my delayed response to your email. And then it just goes on to apologize and it never talks about the questions in that person's email. It never talks about why are you apologizing? So you basically just sent an extra email to apologize for a different email.
对, so 重点是那个 response 嘞, I'm still waiting for that response. You're telling me that you're so sorry for the delayed response, but obviously AI, they don't know what that response should be. So you still need to be the host that actually input that in there.
A few things. We're not going to say that Chat GPT is all bad. In this case, one of the ways that you would start to utilize what it outputs is the sentence structure is fine. The outputs are fine. They're just too long. These are great for giving you prompts for how you could start this email. So I did a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of changing, and I basically took the response and I put it down to one paragraph using roughly their same wording, but just bringing it together and then moving on to what the email should actually be about, which is answering that person's question. If I was just to bring this down to what I would write as an email, I would make it this. Dear recipient, first, I'd like to apologize for my delayed response and any inconvenience that may have caused you. There were a few sudden changes around the office and we fell behind. I want to let you know that I truly value your time and will do my best to ensure this does not occur in the future. To answer your questions in the previous email, and then you write actually what, their question. You're apologizing for delaying, but now you actually have to answer their email. Write that in there. And then I would just at the very end, bring that up again. Apologies for the previous delay. If you have any questions about the above information, please let me know.
Right. So I think what Chat GPT provided here, especially for a lot of us who just running out of ideas what to write, and you kind of like your brain just like suddenly stopped thinking, you needed that couple of sentences or phrases to kind of get you started, right? 所以它提供了一些蛮好用的一些片语啊，比如说 apologize for my delayed response, I understand, or this caused inconvenience to you. 像这一些片语，我觉得当然拿来用没有差，我觉得很好。But what Nick fixed and what he did is explain why we're falling behind because there's a lot of sudden changes. So that's important. Try to explain a little bit why that the response was delayed. And 当然最重要就是 get to the response already, right? 那我觉得最后一段没错 keep it very simple. You don't want to like do a heartfelt apology again in the whole entire paragraph. 其实你一两句带过这个 closing 就好了，因为其实对方可能也没有那么多时间一直去看你的 apology, why you're apologizing, how sorry you feel. Just get to the response.
And as Sherry said, with these little phrases, if you actually notice and definitely check the show notes, we'll have both versions there. I didn't generate really very much new sentences. Yeah. All I did is I just took pieces and the phrases of what they said and put them together to get through it, to make it clear, to make it succinct, but also to keep that tone. The one thing that Chat GPT did really well, and you could hear it through Sherry's dramatic reading, is that it did get the tone of voice right. It did sound truly apologetic, whereas sometimes people just write things like, oh, so sorry for the delay. Right? It doesn't feel very genuine. It doesn't feel very authentic. In this case, they did come across a bit more authentic. It was just way too long and didn't answer the question.
Yeah. 所以我觉得 Chat GPT 它非常有用的地方是什么呢？它有点代替你们之前可能很多人会去收集的模板，所谓的 templates。那 Chat GPT 当然你在一个地方你打出来就好了 right? You don't need to search for the textbook or go Google for like the template for this kind of email. 所以其实它很好用，真的就是在这边。那如果有的时候词穷，或者是你真的不知道打什么字出来，你就可以借一下它某一些片语，但是还是要注意，就是我们的内容，你还是主人。You gotta apply that for your situation, for your audience specifically.
Making sure that you build it for what you need, it can be a powerful tool. Let's do a different type of email. What happens if you said something like, generate an email announcing an exciting new product launch, right? Again, it'll probably create something that brings excitement, it uses a lot of great words, but then it doesn't know what your product is.
Yeah.
So it's not going to announce a product. It's not going to explain to people why they should love it. It's just going to give you a lot of phrases or sentences that sound exciting. So in that case, this is like level 1 of Chat GPT usage. You can put that in there. I want to generate this, but then remember, it doesn't know what you're actually doing. So you can take the phrases, you can take the tone of voice, and it'll come across really good, but you do need to spend time to tailor it for your need.
In the future of our podcast episode, hint, 我们有一些蛮 exciting 的 project 可能就即将要发生了。但是在之后的 podcast episode， 我们希望能够将这些 Chat GPT 它所 generate 出来的一些模板，我们能够把它做一些改变，然后针对不同的 audience。
So consider this the level 1 explanation of how you can make the best of Chat GPT. To get level 2 or beyond, stay tuned and be prepared for our special announcement. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.